What is up guys, Crypto Bera here, back with another video where it looks like seller pressure in the short term has actually decreased. So let's take a look at it right now. Of course, starting off on the lower time frames, we're on the 30-minute chart right here, where over the last couple of days we have seen a clear bullish divergence with, of course, higher lows in the RSI chart and lower lows in the price. So usually with a bullish divergence, it actually shows that seller pressure is decreasing and that some upwards or sideways price action is to be expected in the short term, and that is also what we saw right here. Another very good signal, of course, is that we had the falling wedge. So as you can see right here, for a while we actually had lower lows and then also lower highs, but the top line here is steeper, which also meant that sellers were losing momentum, and the falling wedge often breaks out to the upside, which as you can see, of course, it did right here as well. So lastly, after breaking the upside, we had some more positive signals, because as you can see right here, the current support levels of around 112k, we actually broke down from these levels before, which turned them into resistance, but it's looking right now that we're actually flipping them back into support. So things are looking good because we had a breakout from the falling wedge, a clean retest, and then we also reclaimed the support levels at around 112k, which actually makes room for some more upwards momentum. And one more thing that I want to show you is if we draw the line from here to here, where we actually can see the downtrend, we can also see that we broke this downtrend and are now looking to retest this as well before we move back upwards. So that is one of the things I am looking for in the short term, to see if we can hold this line right here, and then at the same time, of course, hold the support levels. And if we do, that would open up a potential nice long trade. Then on the other hand, if we do not hold these support levels and we also break back down the downtrend, we could be looking at the levels right here on and around 109k, where we will find the next big level of support. And also taking a look at the higher time frame, in this case on the daily, we can also see that we've held the levels of support right here very nicely, and we bounced back up and then also flip this level of resistance back into support. So the next target would be actually for us to move back upwards and retest this line of around 118k before potentially moving back into this rising wedge. And in the ultra bullish scenario, we would actually also break the top line of the rising wedge, which will have us at a target of around 128k. So that is something, of course, that is going to be in the long term. And in the short term, we should really be looking out for these levels of around 118k if we're moving back upwards. So quick look also at the crypto fear and greed index. I really hope that this was actually going to bounce a bit lower, with the price also bouncing a bit lower, so we could get a clean reset before moving back up. We're currently still in neutral situation, which of course isn't also that bad given the current price levels, but it would have been nice to see this drop below a little bit more. So if we take a look at the ETF levels, we've actually reversed the outflow trend right here, and we're getting some small inflows right now. So this is also interesting, as we've of course had a lot of bearish price action in the past couple of days, and now we're also looking at a small, still insignificant reversal of the ETF inflows, but that is definitely something we can keep an eye on in the short term. Lastly, looking at the liquidation levels, we can see we took out a bunch of liquidity, of course, at the 109 and 110k levels, where now it looks like in the short term we have the most liquidity on the upside. However, if we do zoom out, we can still see we have some liquidity here on the downside. So another move to the downside is still in play, and I'm not saying we're going to be going only up from here right now. So this was another market update. Once again, in the short term, look for long positions on the support levels right here, and be sure to tune in with the video tomorrow to see what Bitcoin is going to be doing next.